For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Greeting, guys. It is me here with a message of the kingdom of heaven. Guys, when I listen to Paul, speaks, this guy, guys, he caught so much revelations. Guys, Paul, guys, I'm jealous. Guys, I'm jealous. This dude, guys, this dude is one dude. Guys, if I make it to my Lord's kingdom, guys, I'm trying. I have to see Paul. Guys, if there's one person I should see, it's Paul. It's Paul, it's Peter, and it's David. And Solomon, my prostitute. Guys, I have to see those people. They interest me, when I read, their books and their letters, guys, I become so fascinated because you can tell that these people really, they either worked with my Lord or they worked with Daddy. Because Daddy and my Lord, they are like twins. Guys, they are like twins, I'm telling you. So a person who's dealt with them, when they speak, you can tell, yeah, this one really knows, really knows the man upstairs, Nevertheless, guys, Paul is one guy who was filled with so much revelations, guys. I become so jealous. I'm envy, guys. Let me just be, honest, But here, guys, Paul quotes this revelation, strong revelation, guys. He says, for we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Now, when he says, for we are God's handiwork, he's actually speaking about a fact that we were not an afterthought. We were not an afterthought. In other words, before the creation of things, Daddy had us in mind. Guys, before the creation of things, Daddy had us in mind. That's what Paul knew. That's what Paul understood. You understand? And then, guys, you wonder why Paul walked like that. Guys, and then you wonder, let me tell you why Paul walked like that. It's what he knew, the things he understood. Guys, that dude, it's driving me crazy. And then he says, created in Christ Jesus to do good works. Now, when he says created in Christ Jesus, he's confirming what he already said when he said that we were created for, through, and by Jesus in Colossians 1, So here, he's also saying that we were created for Jesus. You see, guys, there is something you need to think about here. You never really thought about this, but you need to think about this. Guys, Daddy is actually content about him having no wife. You understand? He's content. Daddy doesn't have a wife and he's content. And then he gives birth to a son. And he doesn't create a God wife. Because no one here on earth will be good enough for Jesus. Hello. If you thought you were, sorry. So Daddy would have created a God daughter. Because Jesus, obviously, he would be like, my son needs a wife. But do you know what Daddy has in mind? Daddy is like, Jesus is going to get a wife through in Adam. So Daddy actually made sure that Jesus' wife is born through Adam. You understand? Because Jesus comes down here and he's coming to give us the blood. Because, guys, you see, if we were created for him, if we were created through him, if we were created by him, and we are now dead because of Adam's sin, so Jesus has to give this blood so that we will be good enough for him. You understand? That's why Jesus gave the blood, because as much as we are working for him, as much as we are his sisters, as much as we are serving him, guys, he is our husband. We are the wife of Jesus. You understand? But not this flesh, only when we leave this place. Not now. Hello? So Jesus, Daddy, guys, has this thing in mind that, my son, you will go down there and you'll get your wife, my children. you will go down there and you get them. And now, guys, this is not what I'm actually speaking about, because I've already spoken about this. You understand this, guys. You've been listening to this show for a long time, so you've come to understand these things. What I'm talking about, guys, is the second part, which says, which God prepared in advance for us to do. He says, created in Christ Jesus to do good works. Now, Jesus gives the blood, he gives the commands, and then he leaves the Bible here, so that we'll be able to do those good things for him. You understand? Things that were prepared in advance for us. You understand? But if you look at what Jesus was doing here on earth, because you'll be asking yourself, what are those things that we should be doing? What were those things that he had in mind? Because obviously we were not an afterthought. This one is proof of that. So he had in mind, he had me, he had you in mind before the creation of things. And you see it and you're like, so what is that work that he was preparing us to do? I'll tell you. Jesus come down here and he teaches us those things. You understand? You see, guys, the things that Jesus did 2,000 years ago when he was here on earth, the preachings he was preaching, the sacrificing and everything. And then when he left and went home, he expects me now to do that. He expects you to do that. He left home and he left earth and went back home, expecting that Peter will do that, and Peter did it. He left earth and went home, expecting that John will do that, and John did it. You understand? And then after he left, dealt with Paul, and when he was home, he expected Paul to do exactly what he was doing. What am I saying? I'm actually saying that the things that Jesus did 2,000 years ago, if he was here on earth, he would still be doing them. Guys, Jesus would still be doing them. The things that he was doing, you read the word, you find those things that he was doing, he will still be doing them. Now, let me tell you what this means. It means never go to Jesus and tell him about your career. He's not interested. It means don't go to Jesus and tell him about your dreams. He's not interested. It means don't go to Jesus and tell him about earthly blessings. He's not interested. You are going to be doing the things that he did when he was here 2,000 years ago. Why? Because you are his helper. You are the wife of Jesus. What he should be doing here, if he was here, you are the one who's going to have to do those things. And guys, I look at the Peter, I look at the Paul, I look at the James, I look at the John, and I look at these dudes. Guys, they turned the world upside down. They were hated. They were flogged. They were persecuted. They were killed. They didn't care. They didn't change. Why? In their minds, it's like what Jesus was doing when he was here. And when he left, we will continue and do exactly that. So if you want to know what you should do, you read the word. You read the word. And you will find out. So if you want to talk about career, never speak to Jesus about it. He's not interested. If you want to speak about your dreams, dream big. Jesus ain't interested in that. Jesus is only interested in the work that Daddy prepared for you before the creation of all things. Guys, that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And guys, my Lord still speaks. My Lord, guys, still speaks. He's not mute. Just as he spoke to Peter, just as he spoke to John, just as he spoke to James, just as he spoke to Paul, he's still speaking. But he's still speaking the same things he spoke to them. I don't know, guys, if you understand. He's still speaking the same things he spoke to them. So what am I saying? I'm saying that you should not waste his time. Do exactly what he should be doing if he was here. Do you know what Jesus would be doing if he was here? He will preaching, guys, he will be preaching exactly the things that are written in the word. He will be preaching, guys, exactly the things that are written in the word. So you are not confused. Do not pretend to be confused. Don't act as if you are confused, because I know you are not. You also know that you are not. If you're going to tell me about your career, you're wasting my time. Don't even come close. Don't even come close. If you're going to tell me about your dreams here, don't even come close. If you're going to tell me about the white picket fence and a dog, don't come to me. You're wasting my time. But if you belong to the kingdom of heaven, the things that he was doing, you will be doing. Why? He relies on you. He relies on me. If I'm not doing them, who is doing them? Ask yourself, if he is not doing those things, who will be doing them? You understand? If you are not doing the things that he should be doing, if he was here, who will be doing those things? You've come to understand that you cannot rely on pastors. You've come to understand that you cannot rely on any other person. You will rely on yourself. You read the word by yourself. You do the work that Jesus wants you to do. Why? Because you were created by him. Guys, you were not an afterthought. The reason I brought out this one is because you were not an afterthought. You understand? For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. In other words, this is something that he prepared back before the creation of all things. He had you and me in mind because he knew what Adam will do, and he knew that you, the wife of Jesus, will be doing that. Why? Because you are his other half. Guys, if Jesus is not here, who do you think would be doing that work? No, guys, I'm asking, if Jesus is not here, and guys, he's at home, it's not as if like he's sitting there sipping that glass of wine. He can't even sip that glass of wine. Guys, he can't. Ask me, how do I know? I'll tell you. I'll tell you, guys, I won't hide it. I'll tell you. You go to, I think it's the Gospel of Matthew 26, 25, 26. No, 24. No, 24. 24. No. Guys, I can't remember. 25, 26, around there. Jesus was having this Last Supper with his disciples, and they were drinking wine, and breaking bread. So he tells them, he says, I tell you the truth, I will not drink of this wine until I am with you. Guys, you understand? He says, until I am with you there. You understand? So he's not sitting there at home sipping wine, guys. He's not there at home, guys. He sits, guys. You know what I mean? But he is there trying to find out if his body, guys, I am the member of Jesus' body. You are the member of Jesus' body. And if he's not here, he's relying on you. He's relying on you. You know, guys, here on earth, we say that if you want something done perfectly, do it yourself. Don't we say that? And usually that is something that is said by people who are running after riches, people who are into businesses. They tell you that if you want it done perfectly, you do it yourself. Guys, how much more doing something for your Lord? How much more doing something for your Father? You know what I mean, guys? That, guys, is something way much more. You can't rely on anyone, guys, now. You know that, guys, I don't rely on anyone. Don't rely on pastors. No, don't make the mistake I did. Read the word. Do the work that Jesus was doing 2,000 years ago. The things that he was doing 2,000 years ago, if you are still here, he will be doing them. The words he spoke 2,000 years ago, which are written in the word, and I love my Lord because he did not hide what he was saying. He wrote, he made sure that the disciples compiled the Bible because he wanted us to know. So you know, guys, you understand. You are his handiwork. You, guys, you are not an afterthought. I want you to know that. You are the member of Jesus' body. You are part of Jesus' body. That's why Daddy never created a God wife for Jesus. Because he thought of you. He thought of me. You understand? And Jesus came and he cleansed us. Guys, I love the revelation of Paul he has in Ephesians 5. He says he gave us the blood and he cleansed us. You understand? He cleansed us by the washing of water. Why? He wanted us to be good for him and do this work that